Welcome back to HOA Outplayed. She called it safety and used it like a weapon. Karen yelled that my walkway had a thin icy glaze and she was filming for the record, and the fine would hit today unless I corrected it in front of witnesses. I just watched you pile snow at the curb and that is non-compliance, Martha Campbell shouted from the end of my driveway, her phone raised like a weapon, her scarf flapping in the wind during her rants. I stood on my front step in Buffalo, New York, wearing my brown parka with the hood up, my spare keys jangling on the carabiner clipped to my belt, and I felt my jaw tighten. This was the third time this week Martha had shown up with her clipboard and her threats, and I was paying for a family medical expense and every bogus fee hurts. She was the Northwind Meadows HOA board pool and amenities chair who controls access like a bouncer, and she had decided I was her personal compliance project. I did not say anything yet. I let her keep going. The snow had come down hard overnight, maybe 8 inches, and I had cleared my walkway at 5 in the morning before my shift. I work in an apprenticeship program, learning a trade after years in the service, and I do not have time for this nonsense. The curb pile she was screaming about was from the city plow, not me. I pointed that out. That is city snow, I said. I did not put it there. She did not care. You signed the covenants, now you live the covenants, she snapped, her voice sharp enough to cut glass. That phrase again. She loved that phrase. The board will back me because they are afraid of me, she added, her eyes locked on mine, daring me to argue. I took a breath. Storm clouds stacking like a wall were rolling in from the west, and the temperature was dropping fast. My neighbor across the street, a mail carrier trying to get through the snowbank at the corner, glanced over and shook his head. He had seen this show before. Martha turned her phone toward him like she was collecting evidence of conspiracy. I need this documented, she said. The Northwind Meadows HOA board requires photographic proof of all winter violations. I felt my hands curl into fists inside my pockets. I had been in this neighborhood for 2 years, and Martha had made every single winter miserable. Last year it was the timing of my shoveling. This year it was the placement of the snow, the texture of the ice, the angle of the sun on my walkway. It never stopped. She stepped closer, her white earmuffs bright against her purple coat. You have until noon, she said. If I come back and that curb pile is still there, the fine is $200, and if I see any ice glaze after that, it is another $100 per day until you fix it. I stared at her. I wanted to say a dozen things, but I knew better. I had already started gathering proof. I had video of Martha placing a notice herself after claiming she never came by, and I had a stack of door hangers with snow-soaked edges delivered after storms that proved she was targeting me specifically. I was not going to blow my hand now. I walked away on purpose, because I wanted her to follow and say more. She did. She always did. I went inside and locked the door. My phone buzzed. It was a message from the Northwind Meadows HOA board portal, full of icy sidewalk photos and accusations. I opened it. There was a formal notice citing me for unapproved snow placement, failure to maintain a safe walkway, and non-compliance with emergency winter rules. The emergency rules were a joke. They had been passed 2 weeks ago in a closed meeting I was not invited to, and no one had seen the paperwork. I had asked for a copy. The response was a retaliatory records denial unless I pay ridiculous copy fees and wait 30 days. 30 days. In the middle of winter. While fines stacked up daily. I sat down at my kitchen table and pulled out my evidence folder. I had been keeping everything since November. Photos of my cleared walkway with timestamps. Videos of the city plow dumping snow at my curb. Copies of every notice Martha had left, each one more aggressive than the last. And I had something else, something I had not told anyone yet. A neighbor who caught Martha on doorbell video at night near my property had sent me the file a week ago. It showed Martha walking up my driveway at 11 at night, placing a notice on my door, and then standing there for almost a minute, staring at my windows. She had claimed she never came by that night. She had told the board I refused to accept the notice. The video proved she was lying. But I was not ready to play that card yet. I needed the right moment. I needed witnesses. I needed her to escalate one more time so the board could not ignore it. So I waited. The next morning, a vendor sent to my door to verify snow compliance and provoke a reaction. He was a contractor from a local landscaping company, holding a clipboard and a tape measure. He said Martha had called him. He said he was here to measure the snow depth on my walkway and document any ice hazards. I asked who was paying him. He said the HOA. I asked for his work order. He did not have one. I told him to leave. He did not leave. He stood there measuring the air temperature with a little digital thermometer, writing notes, taking photos of my doorframe. I stepped outside. I need you to leave my property, I said. He looked past me like I was not there. The HOA authorized this inspection, he said. I pulled out my phone and started recording. He left. That afternoon, Martha showed up again. This time, she had a stack of printed storm photo packets in her hand, no readable text on the pages, just images of driveways and sidewalks from around the neighborhood. She held them up like evidence. See this, she said. This is what compliance looks like. Your property does not look like this. I pointed out that half the photos were taken before the last storm. She did not care. You are in violation, she said. The fine is now $400, and if you do not pay by Friday, we are moving to a lien. A lien. On my house. Over snow placement. I felt the rage build in my chest, but I kept my voice calm. I want to see the policy, I said. Show me the exact rule I am violating. She laughed. It is in the covenants, she said. You signed them. I asked her to show me the page number. She said she did not have to. I asked her to show me the board approval for the emergency winter rules. She said that was not my concern. I asked her if she had a copy of the signed policy. She turned and walked away. That told me everything I needed to know. I called my ally that night. He lived 3 doors down, and he had been dealing with Martha for years. He was the one who sent me the doorbell video. He answered on the first ring. She is losing it, I said. She threatened a lien today. He sighed. She did the same thing to me last year, he said. I paid the fine because I did not know I could fight it. But I have been keeping notes this year. I have video of her trespassing at night near my property. I have screenshots of her contradicting herself in the portal. And I just found out the snow policy she keeps citing was never approved. What do you mean? I asked. He explained. He had requested the full board packet from the management company using a formal records request. It took 3 weeks and cost him $50, but he got it. The emergency winter rules were in the draft section, not the approved section. The signature page was blank. Martha had been enforcing a policy that did not exist. If you are hooked, hit subscribe and the bell so you never miss another wild HOA story. That changed everything. I asked him if he would go to the next board meeting with me. He said yes. We started planning. We needed to present the evidence in a way the board could not ignore. We needed copies for every member. We needed witnesses. And we needed to force a vote before Martha could spin the story her way. I hand copies to my ally first, then we present together, so Martha cannot isolate me. That was the plan. But Martha was not done. 2 days later, I came home from work and found a traffic cone stack dusted with snow blocking my driveway. There was a note zip-tied to the top cone. It said, "Unapproved parking surface detected. Vehicle removal authorized." I looked down. My driveway was clear. Then I saw it. A sheet of plywood, maybe 4 feet by 8 feet, lying flat over a patch of ice near my garage door. I had put it there yesterday as a temporary fix so I would not slip getting into my car. It was plywood. On ice. On my own property. I pulled out my phone and took photos. Then I moved the cones. Then I called the management company. I got voicemail. I called again. Voicemail. I sent an email. No response. I checked the portal. There was a new post from Martha. It said, "Resident at address redacted has installed an unapproved surface material in violation of architectural standards. Compliance action in progress. Towing authorized if surface is not removed by end of business today." Towing. She was going to tow my car over plywood. I texted my ally. He called me back immediately. "She is insane," he said. "We need to move faster. The meeting is in 2 days. Can you hold out until then?" "I do not know," I said. "She is talking about towing my car today." He paused. "Do you have the trump card ready?" "I do," I said. "Then use it if she shows up with a tow truck," he said. "Do not wait for the meeting. If she crosses that line, we go nuclear. I did not have to wait long. An hour later, a tow truck pulled up in front of my house. The driver got out. He was holding a clipboard and a wheel clamp, a tire clamp device. I stepped outside. The driver looked uncomfortable. I got a call from the HOA, he said. They said you have an unapproved structure and your vehicle needs to be immobilized until you remove it. I stared at him. That is plywood, I said. It is not a structure. It is on my property. And you are not clamping my car. He looked at his clipboard. I am just doing what they told me, he said. Then Martha appeared. She must have been waiting around the corner. She walked up like she owned the street, her scarf whipping in the wind, her phone out and recording. You were warned, she said. The vehicle will be clamped, and you will pay the removal fee plus the fine. The total is $800. I felt the adrenaline hit. This was it. This was the moment. I pulled out my phone and opened the video file my ally had sent me. I turned the screen toward the tow truck driver. This is her, I said. 2 weeks ago. 11 at night. Trespassing on my property. Placing a false notice. Then lying to the board about it. The driver watched. His face changed. He looked at Martha. She tried to grab my phone. I stepped back. The driver held up his hand. I am not doing this, he said. He turned to Martha. If you lied to the board, I am not getting involved. He got back in his truck and drove away. Martha turned on me. You cannot do that, she hissed. That is private property footage. I smiled. It is his doorbell camera, I said. Pointed at his driveway. You walked into frame. She opened her mouth. Closed it. Opened it again. The board will hear about this, she said. I know, I said. We are coming to the meeting. And we are bringing copies for everyone. She left. I went inside and called my ally. It is done, I said. She tried to clamp my car and I played the video. He laughed. Good. Now we finish this at the meeting. The next 2 days were the longest of my life. I was working double shifts to cover the medical bills, and every time I came home I expected to see another notice, another vendor, another threat. But nothing came. The neighborhood was quiet. Too quiet. I checked the portal. There was a new post from a neighbor I thought was neutral, someone who had always smiled and waved. The post said, resident at address redacted has been uncooperative with HOA safety inspections and has created a hostile environment for volunteers. Multiple complaints filed. I read it twice. A neighbor I thought was neutral becomes Karen's unpaid snow spy. He had been feeding her information. He had been taking photos of my property and sending them to her. I felt sick. I texted my ally. He said he had seen it. He said we needed to be ready for Martha to bring allies to the meeting. She was building a case. She was going to try to paint me as the problem. But we had the evidence. We had the blank signature page. We had the doorbell video. We had the records denial. We had the contradictions. And we had something else. My ally had been talking to other neighbors. Quietly. Carefully. And he had started a petition. A door-to-door petition scene where Karen tries to recruit complaints like it is a campaign, but this time it was our petition. It called for an audit of the compliance process. It called for transparency in winter enforcement. And it called for a vote on Martha's role as pool and amenities chair. He had 23 signatures. The meeting was scheduled for 7 o'clock on a Thursday night. I got there at 6:45. The room was packed. The Northwind Meadows HOA board met in the community center, a low brick building near the pool complex. The tables were arranged in a rectangle, and Martha sat at the head table with the board president and the secretary. She saw me walk in. Her face went hard. I sat in the back row. My ally sat next to me. He had a folder. I had a folder. We did not talk. We waited. The meeting started with the usual business. Budget updates, landscaping bids, pool maintenance schedules. Then the board president cleared his throat. We have a compliance matter to address, he said. There have been multiple winter violations reported at address redacted. The board has reviewed the matter, and we are prepared to move forward with fines and a potential lien if the resident does not come into compliance. He looked at me. Would you like to respond? I stood up. My legs felt shaky, but my voice was steady. Yes, I said. I would like to respond. I walked to the front of the room. My ally followed. We handed out copies of the evidence to every board member. The blank signature page, the doorbell video stills, the records denial email, the contradictory portal posts. The board president frowned. "What is this?" he asked. "This is proof that the emergency winter rules Martha has been enforcing were never approved," I said. "This is proof that she has been trespassing on my property at night. This is proof that she lied about delivering notices. And this is proof that she has been targeting me with retaliatory enforcement while denying me access to the documents I need to defend myself." Martha stood up. "This is a setup," she said. "He is trying to discredit me because he does not want to follow the rules." I turned to her. "You said the board will back you because they are afraid of you," I said. "That was 2 weeks ago. You said it on my driveway. I have it on video. Would you like me to play it now?" The room went silent. The board president looked at Martha. "Did you say that?" She did not answer. He looked at the signature page. "This is blank," he said. "Why is this blank?" Martha tried to explain. She said the policy was approved verbally. She said the signature page was a formality. The secretary shook his head. "We do not approve policies verbally," he said. "Everything has to be documented. If this page is blank, the policy is not enforceable." My ally stepped forward. "We also have a petition," he said. He handed the board president the stack of pages. 23 residents are calling for an audit of the compliance process and a vote on Martha's role as pool and amenities chair. The board president looked at the signatures. He looked at Martha. He looked at me. "I think we need to take a recess," he said. The recess lasted 20 minutes. When the board came back, the president looked exhausted. "We have reviewed the evidence," he said. "The board has determined that the emergency winter rules were not properly approved and are therefore not enforceable. All fines and notices issued under those rules are rescinded. Additionally, the board has determined that Martha Campbell engaged in improper enforcement practices and violated resident privacy. Effective immediately, Martha is removed from her role as pool and amenities chair. The board will conduct a full audit of the compliance process and will implement new oversight procedures to prevent future issues." Martha stood up. Her face was bright red. "You cannot do this," she said. "I have been on this board for 6 years. The president cut her off. "The decision is final," he said. "If you have concerns, you can appeal through the proper channels. But for now, you are removed from the committee." Martha grabbed her bag and stormed out. The door slammed behind her. The room stayed silent for a long moment. Then the president looked at me. "I apologize for what you have been through," he said. "The board will issue a formal settlement that includes full fee refunds, a no-contact directive, and penalties for retaliatory winter enforcement. You should receive the paperwork within a week." I nodded. "Thank you," I said. I sat down. My ally clapped me on the shoulder. "We did it," he whispered. I felt the tension drain out of my body. It was over. The next week, I received the settlement, every bogus fee refunded, every fine erased, a no-contact order that barred Martha from coming within 50 feet of my property or contacting me through any means, and a formal apology from the board. I framed the blank signature page and hung it in my garage. Every time I looked at it, I smiled. The neighborhood changed after that. The new compliance chair was a retired teacher who actually read the rules before enforcing them. The board opened up the records process and posted all policies online, and Martha moved out 3 months later. I heard she bought a condo in a building with no HOA. Good for her. But the best part, the part I will never forget, happened 2 weeks after the meeting. I was outside shoveling my walkway after a fresh snowfall when I saw a delivery truck pull up to Martha's old house. The new owners were moving in. They waved at me. I waved back. Then I noticed something. A stack of door hangers with snow-soaked edges sitting in the recycling bin at the curb. Someone had cleaned out the garage and found Martha's stash. I walked over and looked. There were dozens of them, pre-printed notices with blank spaces for addresses and dates. She had been printing them in bulk. I took a photo and sent it to my ally. He replied with 3 laughing emojis and 1 word. Karma. I went back to shoveling. The sun was out. The snow was light and easy to move, and for the first time in 2 years I was not looking over my shoulder waiting for Martha to show up with her clipboard and her threats. It was a good day. I will catch you in the next story.